I'm Kara Gothier, and this is Infertility Mental Health, episode number 8. Infertility is mentally exhausting. I know, I've been through it, and the toll it takes on your emotional well-being is significant. If you are stuck in infertility limbo right now, this is the podcast for you. My name is Kara Gothier, and I am a certified infertility life coach, the mother of 2 manifested miracles, and I can teach you how to be mentally healthy during this chapter of life. If you are ready for change, if you are ready for your real life to begin now, join me, and let's get into the mindset to motherhood. Hello there, aspiring mama, and welcome back to the podcast. We are well into the month of May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. And if you're following this podcast, if you listen to me at all, you know that mental health is my jam, especially infertility mental health and talking about your mental well-being while you're going through the process of infertility. In my opinion, this isn't talked about enough, so the more eyes and attention and awareness we can bring to mental health during infertility, the better. I have long held the belief that once someone is diagnosed with infertility, they should be immediately handed the resources of support for their mental health. And that is what this podcast aims to do, is to give you tools and resources so that you can maintain and even improve your mental health while you're working towards your goal of motherhood. The way I do that is by teaching you the skills and tools of life coaching. I am a certified life coach. I'm very proud to be one, and I specialize entirely on the infertility experience and helping people, mainly women, through the emotional process that they go through from that diagnosis to fulfilling their ultimate goal. If you are interested in that, which I assume you are, if you are here today, I encourage you to subscribe to this podcast on whatever platform you're listening on and come along for the journey. Now, there are several things going on in the world of women's reproductive rights right now, and I will make future episodes to talk all about those things and managing your mind around those elements. But today, we are going to focus on a very common topic that comes up for my clients and people that I coach around riding the emotional roller coaster that is infertility. Now, I'm sure you've heard of the emotional roller coaster and probably have experienced it as well. And that's what we're going to talk about. How you get on that ride and ride it to the finish line that you're hoping for. Infertility is an emotional process, and it is exceptionally emotionally draining to go through the process of trying to become a mother when there are obstacles in your way. But many times we're getting on that emotional roller coaster without even understanding where it's taking us, and without even understanding that we have a steering wheel to help us through it. In this episode, we're going to talk all about how to ride the emotional roller coaster of infertility in a way that benefits you and actually gets you to your ultimate goal of motherhood. So as we're talking about this concept, I'm going to not assume that you know what a roller coaster is, but describe for you the process that the roller coaster represents. So if you've been to a theme park of any kind, you've probably seen a roller coaster, which is a track with cars on it, and people sit in those cars. They're strapped in, they're buckled in some way, and they get propelled, through time and space in that car, up and down, left and right, all different ways, and end up back at the finish line where they stop and they get off, and then the next person gets on, and it kind of goes and goes and goes. Some people are thrill seekers and just would ride a roller coaster over and over again because they love the excitement of the anticipation, the build up of going up, up, up which is how most of them start, and then the free fall of coming down and that kind of dropping out of your stomach that you feel when you are descending from like a big height. So it's really about the ups and downs and over that we experience that I'm comparing to with this analogy. A theme park roller coaster, physically you experience the ups and downs. That's kind of the whole point, is that your body is moving in all these different ways within, the safety of the car, and you can feel those changes. And some of it feels perhaps really exciting, and some of it feels perhaps a bit scary, but you're physically feeling that experience. When we talk about infertility and riding the emotional roller coaster of infertility, we're talking about the way that you feel on any given day during your infertility process. So emotions are vibrations that we feel in our bodies that are caused by our thinking. So every emotion you have is driven by a thought, a sentence in your mind. So some thoughts that you think may drive the emotion of joy or happiness or excitement, and other thoughts you think might drive the emotions of doubt, frustration, and disappointment. But any emotion you have will always be driven by a thought, by a sentence that you create in your mind. With infertility, we have so many thoughts about that experience. So many thoughts about ourselves, about our body, about our capability, about our future, about our partners. All of these thoughts our minds create, and there's an abundant amount of feelings that follow along from those thoughts. During infertility, when you are paying attention to your emotions as you go along through your cycle, you'll notice a pattern that's pretty common with almost anybody that I've ever coached, and was true for myself as well. The first week of your cycle, you feel hopeful and you feel confidence in a way that you might not at other times. The second week, you feel this anticipation, this excitement. The third week, you feel something that resembles doubt or lack of confidence in yourself. And then the fourth week, almost hands down, most of my clients and myself always feel some element of anxiety. Now, this might not be true for you, but this is a common pattern that I've seen for people that are going through infertility and their experience of having their own cycles and monitoring and analyzing what they think about what their body is going through. And so you'll notice the beginning of the cycle, they have these incredibly positive or uplifting emotions. And towards the end of your cycle, the emotions that come up could be at the complete opposite end of the spectrum. And so it's this back and forth of high positive emotions and low negative emotions, and back and forth that makes up the emotional roller coaster of infertility. And so you might say, I understand that, Kara. How do I get off that roller coaster? And what I'm going to tell you is that you don't. You don't get off that roller coaster. But the thing that you have to understand, and the sooner you understand this from the beginning diagnosis that you get of infertility, the better, that you have the steering wheel to that roller coaster. Like I said before, all of your emotions are driven by thoughts that you think. And every thought that comes through your mind is completely optional and available to you to change. You can control the emotions that you experience by managing the thoughts that go through your mind. Now, if you have never done that before, I can understand that it can seem like this impossible task, this impossible idea to do that. But I promise you that it's not. This is where the power of coaching, life coaching, comes into play, because the magic of managing your mind can direct your emotional experience of infertility now and into the future and beyond, into motherhood, for the rest of your life. If you understand how to control the thoughts that you think and then the emotions that you have, you can control the ways that you respond and the results that you get in your life. To be able to even attempt to grab a hold of that steering wheel of the roller coaster, you have to understand what it is that your mind is doing. You have to step back and examine the thoughts that you are telling yourself and then see how they are creating the emotions that you feel and the actions that you do and the results that you're getting. Every result that you have in your life is a product of a thought that you've created. And the last thing I want to mention is you can never get off the emotional roller coaster. As a human being, you are expected to experience emotions in the full range of emotion. So emotions that feel incredibly good and emotions that feel incredibly bad, they are all meant to be accessible to you as a human being. Attempting to eliminate the emotional roller coaster and to step off the ride is not possible, because you are a human being having a human experience. You are going to feel emotions. However, when you understand how you are creating those emotions and the thoughts that you are choosing to think that are driving them, the emotional roller coaster doesn't feel as intense. And ultimately, that's what we are trying to accomplish. We are trying to decrease the intensity of the negative emotions that seem to slam us every month with infertility. So come along for the ride. Embrace the ride of these emotions that you're going to experience, but put in the effort and the work to understand how you are creating that roller coaster for yourself, how you are creating the thoughts that are making these emotions and pulling you into such high and low places as you go along the process of trying to get to motherhood. And with that, I want to wrap up today's episode and remind you, in case no one has told you this today, but you are wise, you are whole, and you are worthy of everything you want your life to be, even during infertility. I love you, and I will talk to you in the next episode. If what I said in this episode resonated with you, I encourage you to download the Infertility Mental Health Checklist, which is a document with 9 life coaching tools that can help you through the struggle. If you want that, go to my website, infertilitylifecoach.com/checklist, and sign up. You'll get a copy immediately, and you can start doing this work today.